The Midnight Disappearances. The small town of Black Hollow had seen its share of strange occurrences, but nothing quite like the case of Eleanor Graves. Eleanor was a journalist known for her relentless pursuit of the truth. For the past year, she had been investigating the Midnight Disappearances, a series of unexplained vanishings that had plagued the town for over a decade. Every single case shared the same eerie pattern. The person disappeared without a trace between midnight and 1 a.m., leaving behind no signs of struggle, no forced entry, and no logical explanation. It was as if the town itself had swallowed them whole. On the night of October 12th, Eleanor was convinced she had cracked the case. At 11:47 p.m., she left a voicemail for her editor. "I found it. The pattern. It's all connected. Meet me at Hollow Creek Bridge at 12:30 a.m. No cops." That was the last time anyone heard from her. The investigation begins. Detective Samuel Rhodes had spent 20 years in law enforcement. But something about this case gnawed at him in a way no other had. There were no ransom notes, no calls for help, no bodies, just silence. When Rhodes entered Eleanor's apartment, everything seemed untouched. Her keys were on the counter, a steaming cup of coffee sat on the table, and her laptop screen was still on. A document was open, with a half-written article. "The Midnight Disappearances aren't a myth. They're a design. And I know who's behind it." The rest of the text was missing, the document abruptly cut off, as if she had been interrupted. The police combed through the town, searching for any sign of Eleanor. At Hollow Creek Bridge, they found nothing. No footprints, no vehicle tracks, nothing. Except for a small, battered recorder lying half-buried in the dirt. When Rhodes played it back, Eleanor's voice crackled through the static. She was breathing. Heavily, her words rushed. "I see headlights. Someone's coming. Wait, no, it can't be you. Not..." Then silence. A town of secrets. Rhodes dug deeper into the missing persons cases, and one connection became glaringly clear. Every single person who had vanished had, at some point, challenged a decision made by one man, Mayor Gerald Whitmore. Whitmore had been in power for over 30 years. Wealthy, influential, and eerily composed, he was the kind of man who never lost his cool. On the surface, he was a respectable leader. But rumors whispered of his unseen influence over the town, an invisible hand guiding the fate of those who crossed him. Rhodes needed to confront him. At a charity gala that weekend, he slipped in a casual mention of Eleanor's case. Whitmore's reaction was chilling. Instead of confusion or concern, he simply smiled. "Detective, some mysteries are better left unsolved," he murmured, swirling, his wine. It wasn't a threat. It was a promise. The hidden truth, determined to uncover the truth, Rhodes retraced Eleanor's last steps. His search led him to an abandoned tunnel beneath Whitmore's estate, an old railway passage that had been sealed off for decades. The entrance was hidden behind a rusted gate, the lock freshly broken. Inside, the air was thick with dust and decay. The deeper he went, the more unsettling it became. Faded footprints lined the floor. Strange markings were etched into the stone. Walls, dates, names, symbols. Then he found them, a row of makeshift prison cells, old but not empty. Some contained only scraps of clothing, remnants of people long forgotten. Others held skeletal remains, their fingers still curled around rusted bars as if they had died begging for release. And then, in the last cell, he saw her, Eleanor. She was weak, barely conscious, but alive. When she saw Rhodes, her eyes widened. In panic, "You have to stop him," she gasped. "The disappearances, they're not random. He's behind it. He controls it." Before Rhodes could respond, the sound of footsteps echoed through the tunnel. Whitmore stood at the entrance, flanked by 2 men in black suits. "You should have walked away, Detective," Whitmore sighed, pulling a gun. "Now, You join the others. The disappearances. Continue Rhodes reached for his weapon, but before he could fire, the tunnel was suddenly swallowed in darkness. A deep hum filled the air, vibrating through the walls. A sharp flash of light followed. Then, silence. When Eleanor woke up the next morning, she was found wandering the town, confused and unable to recall what had happened after the tunnel. The place she had been imprisoned, gone. The entrance, sealed as if it had never existed. Whitmore remained in power, untouched. No one dared to question his influence. And Rhodes? He had vanished. Just another name added to the Midnight Disappearances.